Welcome to the High Stakes Fantasy Network podcast. Brought to you by PlayNFC.com.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the High Stakes Fantasy Network. I'm Greg Ambrosius along with Tom Kessenich, and we have a special guest tonight. He is NFFC Hall of Famer Chris Vaccaro, 2012 Primetime National Champion as well. Chris, how you doing tonight?
Greg, I'm doing well. It's an honor to be here with you guys and doing this live stream. I've been watching them the last couple of weeks. I love the idea, and I'm glad you guys invited me to do one of these myself. It's going to be a fun time.
We said we're going to flood the zone with live streams this year, and so far I think we're doing it. We had 6 last week. We had 5 the week before. We're starting out with you right now. We got Billy Wazowski next Monday.
Nice.
Nelson and Kevin Adams is doing one tomorrow. We got Fantasy Life on Wednesday. We love it. Tonight is a 12-team, 20-round RotoWire Online Championship, $250,000 grand prize, $1,500 league prize. And Chris, if anybody finishes ahead of you in your league, that's not going to happen. But if it does, what do they win?
They win a year subscription to The Athletic.
Yes, I love it.
Good luck to the 11 other people in the league tonight, but hopefully none of you finish ahead of me.
What's the over/under on people finishing ahead of you in this league?
1.5.
Tom, what are the odds? What do you think?
Well, the odds probably aren't that good, but good luck to everybody. Obviously, Chris is, like you said, an NFFC Hall of Famer, former primetime champ. This is going to be a great draft. I mean, we are selling out the RotoWires like crazy. I mean, I watched 6 of them the other day on Saturday, including 2 night owls at 11:55. We were talking right before we went on the air. Those night owls are just selling out like mad. So we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. This is gonna be a great draft. Watching Chris, we'll talk about like the first hour or so. We'll break down not just Chris's picks, but all the picks. Watch the builds tonight. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna have a good time tonight.
Yeah, and we're breaking down some numbers. Tom and I got this from our IT department today on the number of stacks that we're seeing, because we're seeing a lot of stacks, and now we have the numbers for a Kelsey Mahomes stacks, what percentage in RotoWire Online Championship and such like that. Tom's going to break that down on our Sirius XM show on Wednesday night, but we'll also tweet it out here pretty soon. So should be a lot of fun. So again, we got a lot of veterans in this draft. It's going to be a really good one. Hey, I do want to talk about today. I mean, we had a 3-hour outage on our site. It was the corporate site. It wasn't the NFBC site or NFFC. It was the entire corporate site that went down. We had to make a tough decision in baseball. We had to extend the set lineup deadline because 4 games went off while we were down. So there was nothing we could do. We apologized to everybody. We hate when this shit happens, but we had to make a tough decision. We had to let everybody set their lineups legally before the game started. That was not able to be done for 4 of those games. So we've had some beers, Tom. I don't know how many you've had. I can't count how many I've had, but we got through it and we move on. And now we move on to football. So Chris, you have the 12th pick in this one. Can I ask what your KDS preferences were?
Well, usually, Greg, it's I start off 1-2 and then I go to the back. But just because a lot of my last drafts, these last couple of weeks, I've been in the middle or in the front, I wanted to start going back to the back end of the first round, start getting some more practice in there. When draft season started, I was always in the back, 12, 11, 10. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I want to get back there now. And I went 12 down for this one. And I got the 12 spot, and we got the double pick tonight, so that'll be fun.
Good. This will be a lot of fun. We'll have a lot of time to talk with you. I want you to concentrate on your draft, but I'll give us some time to talk. And Tom, we've been loving the 12 spot in these 3rd-round reversal drafts. Lots of wide receivers down there, some stacks, a lot of different ways you can go there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens at the corner. I mean, just looking at the ADP so far this month, right now at the back end, you got A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, but a lot of wide receivers down there, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams. So really, we talk about it's personal preference down there, how you want to start your builds. Could be a couple of wide receivers, could be a wide receiver running back, maybe a top quarterback there as well. So going to be a lot of fun, just not only to see what Chris does, but also like Team 11, Team 10 as well.
Absolutely. All right. We want your responses in the chat. Put your comments, put your questions, hey, even if you got an NFBC comment, I'll put it up there and respond the best I can. All right. So we ain't shying away from anything around here. All right. We start out with Jefferson. Chase still goes 2. Tom, you watched a lot of drafts this weekend. Is he still going 2 even with the Burrow injury?
Pretty much, yeah. Not a lot of change there. I think we talked about this, I think, on one of the live streams last week. If you're making a difference now or kind of deciding between those 2 wide receivers, maybe the Burrow injury has you leaning towards Jefferson. But right now, those 2 guys pretty much still going at the top of the draft, 1-2.
Yeah, absolutely. McCaffrey goes 3. Bijan Robinson 4. Man, for a while there, we were seeing Bijan at 15 or 16 or, on the front of the turn there. But he's starting to move on up. He goes 4th here.
Yep.
I'm going to say Nelson made that happen. He took him 2 that one night. And since then, he's been moving on up. Amon-Ra St. Brown also moving on
Yeah.
up to number 5, right? You saw that this weekend as well?
I saw it twice. In actually both, I think it was both night owls on Saturday night. He went 5th in both of them, which shocked me to see it happen twice. I had to check my draft. I was putting him out on Twitter. I had to check the draft board to make sure I wasn't clicking on the wrong one. But nope, he went 5th in back-to-back drafts.
Nice. Kelsey
Yeah.
at 6, Tyreek Hill 7, Austin Eckler goes at 8. Cooper Kupp, we've been watching him. We'll talk a little bit about him when we come back on Chris's picks. And then Nick Chubb, again, finding his way into the first round. A.J. Brown. All right, Chris, you got back-to-backs here. Talk us through this.
Yeah, guys, couple surprises in the first round. Nick Chubb creeping up into into that 10 spot right there. So what that did for me here is I'm going to start with that wide receiver start
Mhm.
that you guys have been talking about here. Stephon Diggs left on the board to me
Yeah.
at the turn here. I'm definitely taking that. Have a couple options here with my second pick, but I think we're gonna go
Yeah.
Man, that's a nice
little double
start, I
tap
think.
here. Listen, Amon-Ra St. Brown's catching a lot of steam now. He's pretty much never getting past that pick 10 or 11 that much right now. And now you see Team 5 move him all the way up to the 5th spot. I don't have any problem with it. He's a locked in first rounder. Before that, Team 4, Bijan Robinson. There was those couple days, if you guys remember, a couple weeks ago, where Bijan was kept going in the second round. He was going in that 14 to 17 round, multiple days in a row. I was the lucky recipient of 2 of those drafts, getting him 15th and 16th overall.
Wow.
I think everybody just came back to life. I have no clue for the hell of me how Bijan had those couple days lasted into the early second round, but normalcy has come back to earth here, and he's going where I think he'll go when the big money's on the line next month.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think when the big money in the live drafts come, he'll be top 5. But
Mhm.
I don't know what happened that week. I mean, nothing has changed since that time. We haven't seen any preseason games or anything. But the love for Bijan is there. But Chris, I mean, Diggs and Lamb, I mean, their ADPs right now over the last week, 9th and 11th. You get them at 12 and 13. So a little bit of a discount. But I don't know. I haven't seen too many Diggs Lamb combos. Have you?
No, I haven't. I have seen a couple drafts where Diggs did last to the turn, but I don't know why. I think that's in this particular draft, the fact that Nick Chubb, like we said earlier, came into the first round here. That bought me an extra spot. Team 11 passes on Diggs for A.J. Brown. That's his preference. And, I catch a little bit of a discount here. So, you see it a lot in these drafts, guys, where that 12, 13 spot is pretty much wide receiver land.
Right. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Hey, look at the first 5 builds here coming from the back. 3 double wide receivers, 2 double running backs. There's so many different ways you can build your team from the first couple rounds. It's just cool to see this. I mean, I like all 5 teams, but they're all different starts here, right, Tom?
Yeah, and I'm certainly keeping an eye on Team 6 and what could possibly happen there. But yeah, I mean, Chris, you can't complain at all about what fell to you there at the turn. And there, Team 6 got to be kicking something right now. I mean, I'm sure
We've been seeing a lot of that, right, guys? I mean, Tom, you're watching these drafts every day. For the last couple of weeks, I feel like every night you see a Kelsey Mahomes stack in the first couple rounds. So it's happening a lot lately. This particular draft, the Team 6 was one spot away from making it happen as well.
Yeah. I don't
And a
remember what the
couple of, I think it was like,
percentage was, Tom. I mean, we just saw that today during our meeting. We didn't look real closely, but I thought it was in the
yeah.
30s that it was Kelsey and Mahomes.
I mean, I think Derek and I were talking on the Sirius show maybe 3, 4, whatever it was, 3 weeks or so ago. You weren't seeing that at all because
Mhm.
Mahomes was going so much earlier, and
Yeah.
obviously Kelsey's like top 5, 6 or so. You weren't seeing that stack at all. Now you're seeing it more and more often because Mahomes is falling, and that's why I thought Team 6 had a real shot at it, and obviously just missing by one pick.
You hit it on the head, guys.
Yep.
Early in the draft season, Mahomes wasn't getting out of the first round, and then he
Yep.
would be on the turn. But Kelsey was always going 4, 5, 6. So nobody could ever put that combo together in June and July.
Yep.
Now it seems like, and I want to see if this is a trend that continues into the late August when the main events start, is the big three, the elite quarterbacks. Are they going to take a little bit of a step back and come into the middle of the second round and sometimes the third round? Because you're seeing a lot of Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts fall to that early third round.
Yep,
So,
definitely.
Well,
you know what's interesting is we have seen the Kelsey Mahomes build from the 12 spot, from the 11 spot, from the 6 spot, right? I mean, it's
Mhm.
been kind of weird, but when Kelsey falls that far, it's hard not to double up with him with Mahomes. I know you're pushing Mahomes a little, but you take that stack and you move on. All right, here's 3 quarterbacks going. Picks 23 and 24. Hurts and Allen go there.
Yeah.
I have to ask you, Chris, would you have taken Allen if he had gone there?
Yeah, for sure. Give
For
me
sure.
I
third
was,
round. If one of
yeah.
those guys makes it to the third here,
Yeah.
I'm pressing accept real quick.
Yeah, I was watching that.
Yep. You know what? Let's go a little different here. Let me get. I still think this
Yeah.
guy's going to show up. Come late August, early September. So we're going to go with that bell cow back to start off round 3.
Nice. Let's talk. James asks here, do you think the QBs will shoot back up as we get closer to the season or settling in where they are? What do you think, Chris? I mean, we talked a little bit that they might fall, but boy, it's tough to let any of these 3 guys get out of the second round, right?
Yeah, it is a really good question. Here's the thing. I think with the second round here, I feel like everybody, when the big money's on the line, is going to say, listen, I got to start my drafts off with 2 elite guys. And that second round, you're still getting these big time elite players. So I think there's a chance that these quarterbacks do take a little bit of a step back. But when you get to that end of the second round, those teams are going to say, hey, listen, if I could put the Jefferson and the Chiefs with, a Hurts or Josh Allen, like these guys are doing, it's tough to pass up in NFFC with the 6-point scoring, these elite quarterbacks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're getting the number 1 wide receiver possibly and the number 1 quarterback, and team 1 and team 2 can both say they might have that guy, it's hard to pass that up. You're always looking for eliteness at a position, and to get 2 of them with your first 2 picks is about as good as it gets. So interesting here. All right, so the Bills are kind of interesting. We got 2 teams that started out 3 wide receivers. Let's find out if we got Hero running back here from team 3. He's the only one that's got a chance to do that because team 4 took Derrick Henry right after that. And he comes back with Mark Andrews right now, second tight end off the board. Interesting builds here. Team 6 starts out tight end, wide receiver, running back. Team 1 starts out wide receiver, quarterback, running back. So again, we like to watch the builds. We like to watch the hookups if we can, the stacks. Team 3 does not go hero running back. No hero running backs. Chris, what are your thoughts? Tom and I talk about this.
Wow.
Once you get like a McCaffrey, man, you can just load up on wide receivers maybe and not worry about that running back too until later on, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. If I'm starting off, if I'm taking one of these big time, 7 or 8 elite running backs that you get in the first 2 rounds here, if I'm getting one of them in those first 2 rounds, then I'm going to lay off for a little while and attack. Even in my build right here, I expected early third round, like we talked about, is wide receiver territory with the DK Metcalfs, the T. Higgins, Chris Olaves, Devonta Smith. I fully expected to go 3 wide to start off, but In this particular build that I'm starting right here, taking a Jonathan Taylor, if he shows up to camp, I know I have a top 5 elite running back. It also opens my draft up here for the turn here at 48-49.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I decided to go Jonathan Taylor there. I feel like there's a little bit of a cliff once he comes off the board.
Well, we saw that with Barkley, right? Once he signed, he was going 22,
Mm-hmm.
23 for a while. He signs, all of a sudden he's going 10. He goes, 15 here. If Taylor comes into camp somehow, if they can make this up, that's going to be tough, obviously, with the Colts. But, and if the back is okay and the ankle is okay, all of a sudden he's an elite back. So he seems to be falling a little bit too far. You got to take the value while it's there. You're drafting talent anyways. Here we go. We got Jackson now going ahead of Chase. Hey, Team 2 decided not to stack with Chase. Tom, did you see some of that Chase Burrow this weekend?
Yeah, and so a little bit of that. I did want to point out the guy whose ADP is just skyrocketing right now, and that's Calvin Ridley. He goes, I think, if I do my math right, 28th overall here. And you think about where he was going in our earlier drafts, even about a month and a half ago. This is about a full round and a half earlier than where he was going back in June or so. He's just like, and Chris can probably attest to this too. Just ADP is just through the roof right now. Early 3rd round. A couple of nights ago, he went right at the turn, at the 2-3 turn, at the 2nd round turn. This is a guy who is, I think, locked into that early to mid-3rd round and may even sneak into the late 2nd at some point. His ADP right now is just skyrocketing.
He's one of the hottest names on the board,
Yep.
Tom, like you said, and he's now joined, that group that we just talked about, the Metcalf, Higgins, Devonta Smith. You're not going to see Calvin Ridley get out of that mid-3rd round come main event season. You don't see him get past there now in online championship season, and that's just that's just a product of the board. You're seeing the Olaves and the Devonta Smiths go in the middle of the 2nd round, so people are drawing the wide receiver position up some more. Usually, in this draft, Jerry Jeudy went in the 4th round. That's about as late as I've seen Jerry Jeudy in weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Jeudy usually doesn't make it out of the 3rd round. So people are bringing up these receivers into the 3rd round that were 4th rounders because 3rd rounders a month ago became late 2nd rounders. So,
Yeah, definitely. You talked about round 3. That's usually the wide receiver spot. We got 5 running backs in that one. And one of them was Kenneth Walker, who was 36th overall. And then Aaron Jones goes 38th overall. He's been going the 5th round lately. So interesting there. The running backs seem to be being pushed up in this draft. Mixon gets moved up into this draft or into this round. Josh Jacobs gets moved up. Man, we've got 10 running backs in the last 2 rounds, and we got 2 picks left, Tom.
Yeah, running back. Yeah, a lot of guys getting pushed up in this. Kenneth Walker, I think that might be after maybe check his min pick, but 36th overall for Kenneth Walker feels real early compared to where he's been going lately. I'm scrolling down to find Kenneth Walker. Yeah, 48th so far this month is a min pick. So that's a full round earlier than where he's gone so far this month for Kenneth Walker. You mentioned Aaron Jones a little bit earlier than usual. So a lot of guys getting pushed up in this draft tonight.
All right, Chris, what are you thinking on the turn here? 4-5.
Well, I'll tell you the first thing I'm thinking here, guys, is people are running scared from Joe Burrow, but I'm not. And he's going to be pick 1 for me here.
Goes off as QB6 here.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's sometimes when you're in these drafts, you just get put in a position where the news the last day or two scares people away. And like I said, with Jamar Chase saying yesterday that, hey, if I told him to miss the first 4 weeks, come back week 5, that's given some drafters hesitancy. I still think he's going to be there. The second,
I don't think Jamar Chase is a doctor. I just want to put that out there right now. And I think Joe Burrow wants to play as many games as he physically can. So we'll put that out there too.
Yeah. And
look at that. Our boy, Christian Watson.
I did that for you guys.
Chris?
I was gonna say.
No. That's some good value right there for a wide receiver 3 as well, Christian Watson. Another receiver that a lot of times, Tom, you can point to this. He's going right around the turn at the 3-4 turn, sometimes third round. So he's another red hot name that's steaming up the
Yep.
board too. So I get him at the 4-5 turn as my wide receiver 3 with an elite quarterback in Joe Burrow, who I think a couple weeks from now we'll see him locked back into the middle of the third round.
Yeah, and I mean, if Burrow would sit out the first couple weeks, I mean, you'll get a second quarterback, and I
Yep.
think you'll be fine. But you want the money weeks when he is full go for
Yeah.
sure. But I think he'll be playing sooner than most people think. As far as Watson's concerned, I mean, I know family night is just a scrimmage at Lambeau Field, but they did a fade out to him down to the right corner, and he out jumped Jair for a touchdown. I don't know if you saw that highlight, but
Hmm.
he's just so athletic. It's just can love produce for him. So it's very interesting.
Yeah. Yep. I did think about the dip on TJ Hawkinson at the turn there, but
Mhm.
I'm not one of those guys that usually likes to go elite quarterback and top tight end in the first 5 rounds.
Yep.
So I opted for Burrow. I'll always take the elite quarterback over a tight end. That's one of the top guys early on. I feel like I can make the tight end position work later on, but
Yeah.
anytime you're going to give me value at the quarterback position in these drafts, I'm taking it, and that's what I did with Burrow here.
Yeah, at 6 points per passing touchdown, as we know, those top four quarterbacks, they averaged about six more points per game than that second tier of quarterbacks. And so that's elite. I got to ask you, when you're doing drafts this year, are you trying to get one of those top 4, 5 quarterbacks, or are you willing to wait this year?
So interestingly enough, an online championship season, and my draft strategy for online season is going to be different most likely than main event season. But for online championship season, when I go into these drafts, I'm not moving up these elite quarterbacks.
Okay.
I'm sitting back and I'm taking the value on any of them that comes to me each draft. So uh, one night last week, I got Lamar Jackson in the same space. I just got Joe Burrow at 48-49. I said,
Hmm.
if I don't get the value, then I have no problem waiting. Matter of fact, the live stream that we did, Greg, that you did the last one with Nelson the
Hmm.
other night, I was in that draft. I was the team that waited all till the last
Yep.
drafter for quarterbacks,
Yep.
and I wanted to see, as someone that drafts a lot, we got to continually try different practices,
Yeah.
different, builds and everything to see if we like it. And once the elite quarterbacks went off the board and I sat back and waited, I said, this is a type of draft I want to see how it comes out,
Yeah.
waiting on the quarterback. And I think I put together a Kirk Cousins,
Yep.
Russell Wilson,
Yep.
a Geno Smith quarterback room in rounds 12 and later.
Yeah.
And I like the way it looks because it allows you to get that extra pick early on in the first 6 or 7 rounds of another running back or a receiver or an elite tight end, which I did in that particular draft. So there's many ways to skin a cat here, guys.
Yeah.
You know that. And this year, as much as I love to get an elite quarterback, one of those elite 9 in my eyes, because Watson, I believe, should be in that conversation. There's a lot of great options in that 10 to 18 range at quarterback, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Tom, I was saying when you were talking about Ridley, I thought I'm sure Team Nine wants to stack with Lawrence, and he did. He took him as a QB7 here, but look at Team Nine start out with 4 wide receivers and a quarterback. I think I know who Team Nine is. I'm not going to say who it is, but I think I know who it is.
And
And
he's a
Chris is
great
shaking his
drafter.
head.
And I won't say his name either, but I'll say this: he's an unbelievable drafter. He's one of those drafters that every time I see his team and his board, I always love the way he drafts. It's
Yep.
just certain players in the NFFC. You really like the way they draft, and he's definitely one of them. And this team, I'm interested to see what he does. He's obviously going to be attacking the running back position in these upcoming rounds. Rounds 5 through 8 has been a gold mine for the running back
Yep.
position for the last couple months here. But this draft, it's been a
Yep.
little more running back heavy. So
Right.
let's see if he gets caught. You
Yeah.
know,
I agree with you. This is round 6, 5, 6, and 7 is where these running backs have been falling. Tom and I have been talking about it in these live streams, but it does. I don't know if it's going to happen this time. Tom, I'll let you talk about Team Nine's start here, but first I have to let you know I already told him he's got to buy us a bucket of beer at the Westgate because I did him a favor recently, so he owes us a bucket of beers.
Yeah, I can't say who it is either, but yeah, no, I agree with Chris. He's always fun to watch draft because he's good. He's really, especially in the RotoWires, he's really good at that. So it'll be interesting to see. I agree with you. He's probably going to be attacking running backs. We'll see if he gets caught because I do think a couple of teams here are going to be looking to attack running backs in this round. One of them just did their team 5 with Rashad White, so we'll see how it plays out before it gets to team number 9 here. But yeah, typically in these drafts, rounds 5 and 6, and sometimes into round 7 is where you can find a lot of value at running back.
All right, team 4 gets Justin Fields as quarterback
Yeah.
8, and he teams him up with DJ Moore there. So interesting there. Again, we look at a lot of different stacks, and you know the stacks are always Mahomes and Kelsey, right, or Chase and Burrow. But hey, a Lawrence Ridley and a DJ Moore Fields, that could work out. Trust me, in 2021, when it was the Burrow Chase stack, nobody on draft day was saying that's the stack you got to get because Burrow is going in like round 10. So Fields could bust out, Lawrence could bust out. So interesting that stack there, and we'll see if it pays off here. So
That was nice value on Justin Fields,
yeah,
sixth
yeah,
round Justin Fields for sure. Whenever you could clip one of these elite 8 quarterbacks, because Watson doesn't usually go in the first 6 rounds,
right.
but if you could grab one of them in the 6th rounds, that's a great way to go because you get 5 running backs, receiver combinations, the first 5,
Yep.
clip an elite quarterback in the 6th, your team winds up looking pretty nice.
Absolutely. All right, I got to answer this one from Kevin. He said, "Would you be happy with 7 and 10 as a Packers fan?" Well, the over/under on wins is 7.5, and I'm taking the over. So no, I would not be happy. Tom, are you taking the over by like a half a win or not?
Well, I predicted 7 and 10, so that's kind of right on the money. I mean, for me, it really depends on what we see out of Jordan Love and some of the younger, like Watson and Romeo Dubs, in terms of development, how they play. I mean, if they're competitive and finish 7 and 10, then yeah, I'll take that. If they get blown out 10 times, no, that's not going to be good to see. So it really depends on what we see from competitiveness and what we see from Jordan Love. Does he develop over the course of the season? Because that's the most important thing for this football team.
Yeah, definitely. And I can tell you, the offense is getting their asses handed to them by the defense so far, not only in practice, but family night as well. The offensive line's getting blown up. They haven't been able to do a whole lot. So, all right, Team 9 goes with Cam Akers. I think he's got a lot of shares of Cam Akers, but that's a nice little one to get right there. James Cook goes to Team 11. Javonte Williams goes to Team 10. Again, these running backs are even getting pushed up because other running backs went a little earlier. So, uh, very interesting as Team 10 starts out with 4 running backs and 2 wide receivers. Tom, a lot of interesting builds. We talk about that 4th running back with your first 6, but there's upside there, I guess, with Javonte Williams.
Yeah, I mean, at that spot, I think it's worth taking a shot with Javonte Williams. I mean, he's already got the 3 running backs, but I think at that point you can take a shot with Javonte and keep him on your bench and just see how the season plays itself out for Williams. I mean, because certainly if he is there for the second half of the season in those money weeks, that's a really good advantage to have there. And I like what Chris just did at the turn. I really like that a lot. I think people are sleeping a little bit on David Montgomery. Not a great running back, but certainly a good running back and a lot of touchdown upside in that Lions offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk us through it, Chris.
Yeah, so I was hoping that one of the receiver would fall there, but I'm looking at Darren Waller as an elite top 4
Yep.
tight end on my board this year. I think if anybody can make a run at one of the top 2 spots on the board at tight end, I think it's Waller this year. So I get a pretty big discount on Waller because he's starting to sneak up into that early 6th round range. I'll treat him as like a wide receiver 4 on this team. So the build doesn't look like a normal one for me, but because I get a Waller there at the turn, I'm happy with only having the 3 wide receivers. Montgomery, guys, I like him this year, and I know maybe I had to move him up a little bit on this type of build, but in that offense, people are running scared because of Jahmyr Gibbs there. I still think Montgomery is going to be a 15 to 18 carry a game, and you're getting him behind the best offensive line in football, in my opinion, getting him on a pretty good team that I expect to win that NFC North this year. They are the Vegas favorite. And I think they'll be, leading in a lot of games, second half, pounding Montgomery. And I think he's got double-digit touchdown potential this year. So on builds like this, where I'm wide receiver heavy with an elite quarterback, he could be my RB2 every day of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. You started a tight end run here. You got Waller as the fourth tight end. Kittle and Pitts go off the board here then. Team 10 did take Deshaun Watson as the ninth quarterback. And I agree with Chris. I think Watson is starting to move up because for a while we saw just those elite eight, Lawrence being the eighth guy. Now he's moving up. All of those eight are moving up, and all of a sudden Watson is getting picked before that second tier of quarterbacks start running off the board. So interesting there. Chris, I got to ask you, are you starting to like this 12th spot right now?
Yeah, I do. That 10 through 12 spot is just a comfortable way of drafting, guys. That's why I got out of it. Like I said earlier, when I was drafting so much in the beginning of the season, I think my first 8 or 9 drafts, I was in the back end of the first. And I had to get out of it because it's just so easy. You know what's coming to you. You know what your teams are going to most likely look like.
Yeah.
There's the same combination of 5 or 6 guys that go there. And my teams are all starting to look the same. So I wanted to switch it up a little bit. But, yeah, it's a nice way of drafting. You get that first spot in the third round as well. You know what, 4 or 5 guys are going to be there most of the time. And then you go from there. The whole board is open to you at 48 and 49. You could go wide receiver. You could clip an elite quarterback.
Yep.
You can grab one of these mid-tier running backs with all the craziness going on at the running back position right now on the board. That's what's making drafts on a nightly basis so interesting and all over the map. Because once you get out of the top 30 overall ADP wise, these drafts just go haywire on a daily basis. You can have a guy that goes in the late third round. He could go in the fifth round, the next day, and vice versa. So, that 30 to 60 overall range right now, they're all good players. Some people, it's just your preference on who you want to move up, who you want to move down, and they go all over the place.
Right. And the way you're building your roster is who you determine that you want at that point.
Absolutely.
And again, Tom, we can talk about this, but people ask us, why do we do third round reversal? Well, again, we were trying to balance out all of the draft spots. And like Chris is saying, a lot of guys want to be at 12 now. They want to be at 11 because they're getting 3 of the first 25 or 3 of the first 26. And I don't think we need to explain why third round reversal is needed anymore. It's what the players want, and it makes each draft just so unique.
Yeah, and it just adds a strategic element to the draft as much as anything right now. But certainly you look at those top 3 guys right now. I mean, and maybe we throw Bijan in at the end of the year. We'll see how that plays out. But look at Jefferson, Chase, McCaffrey. I mean, they're going to drop 20 to 25, upwards of 30 points per game on the board every single week. You got those 3 guys. That's a huge advantage, right? So we do want to balance out the draft board a little bit. But again, what I love about third round reversal is, again, the strategic element that it brings, because you do get to that round 3, and what Chris was able to do there with Jonathan Taylor, I think just adds so much to the draft. And even, team 11 with the 3 wide receivers. And I just love that. And again, I love watching the builds, and just like we're doing here in the live stream, because the back end of round 1, watching what these teams are doing with their builds, to me, adds so much fun and strategy to the drafts.
So Alvin Kamara goes at 84. Dalvin Cook goes at 85. Tom, you were tracking Kamara this weekend. His ADP before the weekend was 88, I believe. Is he just landing right in this 8th round range?
Yeah, pretty much didn't budge at all immediately after. I mean, this is a little early, so a tick earlier than his ADP. So maybe we see him move up a little bit, but the weekend drafts really didn't budge at all, which surprised me a little bit. I would expect him to move up, and Chris can give us his thoughts. We can maybe do that after he picks her because he's coming up quick, but I was surprised he didn't move up really at all this weekend.
Chris, what are your thoughts quick on Kamara?
Yes.
Kamara, he's been going right around 85, 86. Did you?
Yeah, I thought he would move up. I thought he would move up a full round just because people can take him as their third running back in that range on certain builds and just stash him for the first 3 weeks of the season. And then, and then week 4, boom, you unleash an Alvin Kamara. But truth of the matter is, a lot of people just sour on him as a player.
Yeah.
The analytics guys, he doesn't check out last year. He lost a lot of juice last year, but he rededicated himself this off season. I read actually something this morning about him, and he says he feels like a completely new player. He went to one of those certain trainers, and he just changed his whole workout and everything like that. So he could be an absolute steal on the draft boards this year, even in that 8th round range.
Yeah. All right. You're on the 8-9
Yeah.
turn. We'll let you make your pick here. Just looking at team 9 again. Again, he starts out 4 wide receivers, quarterback Trevor Lawrence, teams up Ridley and Lawrence, and then goes Akers, Connor, Gibson. Certainly got 2 out of 3 good options every week there, I think.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, talk us through.
Yeah, this is a nice little gift for me for a team that in mind that's looking for a really nice 4th wide receiver. I think Treylon Burks is just because D-Hop signed.
Yeah.
Treylon Burks coming into town. Let me make one more pick here, guys, and away we go. I'm going to double up on wide receiver here. I'm not giving up on Michael Thomas either here, guys. And as my 5th wide receiver on this team, I could get a good look at him the first couple weeks in that offense. I think he'll be the 1B to Chris Olave. All the reports so far that I've read from Michael Thomas seem good. And I know everybody is scared because he always gets hurt, and he has been for the last 3 years. But for me, it's a shot worth taking this late as a wide receiver 5. But back to Treylon Burks real quick. Once D-Hop got signed, Treylon Burks just kept falling down the board. This isn't about a full round later than he's been going. And I'm not so sure that Treylon Burks isn't right there as a 1B with D-Hop playing the 1A role. Treylon Burks is a stud. And to get him this late, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Brian said, Burks won't get top corner coverage. He's the wide receiver 2 now, which is actually good for him, right? And he's certainly been balling out in camp. And you know what? Last year was a learning experience, and I think he'll come back much better for it. So I like it an awful lot. Tom, talk about, I think you're going to say something about team 9 with the 3 running backs.
Well, I want to point out that, first of all, team 9's got himself a real stack there now with Lawrence, Ridley, and Evan Engram. So he just really dropped a stack there big time.
Yeah.
But again, I do want to point out, we do talk about this on the live streams a lot, but look at all the green in round 6 and 7. I mean, you're just loading up at running back if you do want to wait. I mean, those are good running backs available in round 6 and 7. Now we do got to see J.K. Dobbins get healthy, but if he is, and Williams too, but there's a lot of talent at running back in those 2 rounds in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we've said that all year. Is rounds 5, 6, and now 7 seem to be the way to go. And so Tom and I were in a 14-team industry league. We started out 3 wide receivers. Everybody else was just pounding the running backs. And we did get White and James Cook. And as we look at the board now, Tom, feeling not too bad in a 14-teamer with those 2.
With the wide receivers we got, I am feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, well, we got a Burrow Chase hookup as well in a 14-teamer, which we didn't think was going to be possible.
And wait till the madness starts when, some of these running backs that are out on the street, start sliding like a Dalvin Cook. Let's see what backfield he affects.
Yeah.
Same thing with Fournette and Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt was in town visiting the Saints today.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of an impact he'll make on the board, but after you get out of those top elite 8 running backs that get drafted in the first 2 rounds and early 3rd, all these backfields can be affected. They all come with issues. Josh Jacobs has his, he's not there. Jonathan Taylor, same thing. People are scared of drafting Ramondre Stevenson right now. If that Patriots backfield doesn't get touched in the next couple of weeks, Ramondre Stevenson's going to find himself at the end of the 2nd round, early 3rd round, once again going into the season. People are getting the discount now because, all the rumors of, that one of these guys coming in and signing. So, same thing. Javonte Williams is starting to move up now because he's back around. Brees Hall. There's so many of these running backs that come with, an issue. So the board's going to keep changing. That's what makes this fun, guys, is that week to week, the board changes so much because of news and information and signings and injuries. And that's why we keep coming back for more night in and night out.
Yeah, I mean, Stevenson wouldn't be falling if the Patriots weren't in on every available running back,
Yeah.
it seems like. I mean, they're the
Yeah.
first team that comes up when Cook is mentioned, right? Everybody. A trade might happen. Well, he's going to go to the Patriots. I mean,
Mhm.
it's crazy. I got to ask you real quickly. ETN seems to be falling, and there's a lot of talk of Tank Bigsby. He's
Mhm.
catching everything they throw to him. Best hands I've seen. What are your thoughts on that Jacksonville backfield?
I still like ETN, especially at the price he's going, that fourth round, that mid fourth round range right now. I think they brought in Bigsby. He's a good player out of Auburn. I think they brought him in to maybe inside the 5-yard line, take some steam off of ETN's shoulders.
Mhm.
I still think ETN's going to get plenty of playing time. And, he did struggle to catch the ball last year, but from everything we hear from beat writers, ETN's catching the ball pretty well, and he's very involved. He's doing everything at camp to keep him as the elite running back one on that team. So Bigsby, to me, he got a lot of steam early in the draft season. People are starting to sit back a little bit on him right now, but ETN at his fourth round price, I'm still in on him.
All right, I just was going to say there were 3 teams without a quarterback. One of them included Team 5. He took Daniel Jones there. I don't know if I got a hookup on that one at all, or just he took the best quarterback available. Looks like Team 6 does not have a quarterback, and there you go. Team 6 takes Kirk Cousins. So 2 teams that didn't have a quarterback go with Daniel Jones and Kirk Cousins. So that leaves Team 8 as the last one, and we'll see if he waits a little bit longer here. There goes Romeo Dobbs, goes in the 10th round. I've seen him been going in the 9th. Nope, Team 8 says, I don't need a quarterback right now. I'm going to wait like Chris did on Friday night, see what I get in rounds 12 to 13. Tom, anything stand out to you right now? Any players stand out?
Nobody besides the players we've been talking about so far. I mean, again, the running backs, some of those running backs getting pushed up about a round, some of those wide receivers earlier. But again, I think we're at the point now where people are kind of filling in with depth picks at this point. I mean, you look at Jerick McKinnon, Elijah Mitchell getting picked here. These are, depth picks. I do like the Nico Collins pick. Maybe Chris will want to talk about him after he's done. I think Collins is a guy who's got some upside. I do like the Romeo Dobbs pick quite a bit here. I mean, to me, that's a nice upside wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, depending on your build. But I do like Dobbs quite a bit. Again, I look at him and Nico Collins, and another guy who's still on the board as guys I really want to get as a wide receiver 5, stash on my bench, and we'll see what they can do for bye weeks and injuries as the season goes on.
All right, Chris, you got the double hit here. We'll let you talk through it, but just so everyone knows, 38 minutes. We're through round 10 here. 38
Yeah.
minutes. I mean, we were going to stay an hour, but holy cow, it might be done by then.
Yeah, the draft is flying, right, guys?
It is.
Yep.
Well, let's see. We're gonna go this guy right here. Solid team, and then I need a little more running back depth here, guys, on this team, and I still think Khalil Herbert here is going to be the main guy in the Bears backfield, and just a little more running back depth. None of these guys are guys that I'm going to be in love with. I really feel, I don't know how you guys feel. I'll throw this back at you guys. The draft board to me starts to die out around, about pick 100 this year. And in past years, it's always interesting to see year to year how deep the draft board is in terms of talent. For me, last year, you were still in the 13th, 14th rounds of draft, and I still felt like, wow, I love this guy. I love, and every year is different. This year, it starts dying out around pick 100, like I said, and you start getting into just building some bench depth at this range. So when you're on the back end of this, of the board here, and in the 10th and 11th rounds, you're just building your bench. And there's not too many names here that people are going to go, oh my God, I love this guy so much. Tom, Romeo Dobbs is definitely one of those guys in this range that I do like picking. A lot of great, blurbs from Packers beat writers over these past couple of weeks with the rapport that Jordan Love has with Romeo Dobbs there. So even though I have Christian Watson, I wouldn't have hesitated there to put Dobbs on this team also in this spot.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, Love and Dobbs worked out during the offseason. They love to do crossing patterns. He hit one with him on Friday night that I thought was just a thing of beauty. So that's where you're going to get it. And then
There's
Watson's
just
the
not
deep.
that much depth. There's just not that much depth, with the Packers here. I don't know
No.
what you guys are hearing about Jaden Reed, the rookie that I think is in line to start in the slot.
Right.
And I know they love the rookie tight end.
Yep.
But you could see Dobbs getting targeted 7-8 times every week.
Yeah. I kind of disagree with you a little bit, and Tom can chime in as well. I think there is more depth after 100, but there's lots of upside. I mean, there's guys like, okay, so Jamison Williams, right? I mean, wow, you could win with a guy like that. Nico Collins, like Tom said. I mean, even Kadarius Toney, if he is going to be ready by week 1, he's going after pick 100. It's got some good upside. So I think there's some young guys out here that could burst out that could be better than you think after pick 100. So not so much depth, but man, I think upside is after 100. Tom?
I mean, for me, I think the running back talent really drops off. I mean, I like the Khalil Herbert pick a lot to get a potential starting running back right there at the 10-11 turn. Damian Harris, pretty solid guy. Certainly could be a touchdown goal line guy for the Bills, but I really like the Herbert pick a lot. For me, what I would disagree with Chris is I think there's wide receiver talent, or at least solid bench guys, right? I mean, I'm not going to mention the names because they could still be picked, but besides Dubs, of course, that I mentioned, I think there's still about a handful of wide receiver guys that I think could be solid wide receiver 4 flex plays, when the matchup's right, that are still out there on the board that I think are pretty solid guys as we get deeper. But I do think the running back talent is starting to dry up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I do agree with that. I like the tight ends that you can get after pick 100. I'll say that much. And again, the quarterback position, the guys that are ranked in that 10 through 18 range, after pick 100, I like selecting them too when I wait. But for me, the running back position definitely dies out. And there are some wide receivers. Tom, just to go back earlier with Nico Collins, he's definitely one of my favorite targets in this 10th round range. I think he could definitely be the leading receiver for the Texans and take that, another step here. I think Robert Woods is washed. I don't think he's going to factor in. I do like another Texans wide receiver, see if I can maybe scoop him up in the next round or two. I mean, listen, all these guys, I wouldn't trust a Darnell Mooney, but listen, they all, if they didn't come with question marks, they wouldn't be going,
That's right.
in round 10 and 11 and 12. So I just think, the base of your team, you're going to be building in these first 8 rounds, 8-9 rounds. And then after that, there's a whole bunch of bench fodder here.
Yeah, one guy I want to talk about is Sam Laporta, and he's the tight end 1 for team 1. But my goodness, they're talking like he's going to be the second option in that passing offense, right? And this Alliance team that is going to be high scoring. And Laporta, I think he's a value. I'm actually surprised he went after Komet, and Dulcich got moved up there, but Laporta could be a steal there.
Greg, Sam Laporta, and I got to see it. Well, I might as well say it because whatever. Listen, Sam Laporta and Dalton Kincaid are flying up the board. Yeah. 2 rookie tight ends. Most of us drafters don't love drafting tight ends, rookie tight ends. Right. But these guys are different, man. Coming out of schools that they were moved tight ends. Dalton Kincaid in the first round, drafted by the Bills. Yep. Laporta's killing it. He was a stud in Iowa. Yep. And, with Jamison Williams out the first 6 weeks and a whole bunch of other question marks in the receiving group in Detroit, you could see Sam Laporta being that second option. You know,
Absolutely.
I know the Lions beat reporter the other day said, listen, Laporte has hit the ground running. He's playing with the ones for weeks now. He's got a great rapport with Jared Goff. And he expects him to be the second option in the pass game until Jamison Williams comes back. So, you know, that's what sent him up the board
Yeah,
right now.
absolutely. Yeah, no, I like the reports right now too, and I think he's going to get a lot of targets here. All right, well, again, we're
Mhm.
cruising pretty close, pretty quickly here.
A lot of double quarterback time. It's double quarterback time. You see a lot of teams in the NFFC draft 2 quarterbacks in the first 12 rounds, and what teams? Let's see, what is it?
5, 6, and 8.
5, 6, 8, 10. 5, 6, 8, and 10. They all have and
One,
4.
yeah, one and 4. One took
Yeah,
Josh Allen and then went with Jared Goff. 4
yeah,
goes with Fields and Tua, right? Daniel Jones, Russell Wilson. How about Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers? They're teammates right now. NFC
yeah.
North teammates right there. Just like Chris did with David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert. Brought them back together. Brought them back together there.
That is for sure.
All right, we're going to let you
Uh,
do this turn here.
yeah, let's see here. Well, if I just talked about him and I love him, even though I have Darren Waller on this
There you
team,
go.
I'm not against putting talent. And if Kincaid takes off and all the reports are glowing on this guy in this offense with Josh Allen, who knows? Maybe there's weeks where I have Waller at tight end and Kincaid as a flex down the road. You never know. Let's see what we got here. And in situations like this, guys, I like to build a backfield with my bench. So Khalil Herbert, Deontay Foreman, both of them are splitting first team reps right here with Roshan Johnson, who I know he just got back into practice the last couple of days, but from all reports, the backfield is split between Herbert and Foreman. I think when you're a rookie running back like Roshan Johnson and you are hurt for a couple weeks, you get off to a little bit of a slow start. Maybe he's a second half guy, but I think the Bears backfield the first half of the season will be mixed with Herbert and Foreman. So obviously this team is a little weak at running back and strong everywhere else, in my opinion. So when I can build a backfield this late, that's what I'm doing. And that's what I did with Herbert and Foreman as my last 2 picks.
All right, before we let you go, Chris, and we've had a lot of fun tonight. It's been great seeing you. Look forward to seeing you in Las Vegas. Where
Definitely.
can people find your work? Because you write about high stakes, you write about drafts. Let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, every week I'm back this year with The Athletic. My articles, they'll be coming out in the next couple weeks. I'll be getting that going. If you're an NFFC lover like I am, and if you're listening to this live stream, you most likely are too. I write a lot about the high stakes market and NFFC drafts, and that's where you can catch my work all year long as well as my podcast this year with Nando DeFino every week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if anybody finishes ahead of Chris in this league, they win a year's subscription to The Athletic. Chris put it at 1.5 at the beginning. What are the odds right now, according to bookmaker Chris Vaccaro?
I see a couple strong teams, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I like Team 5. I like Team 9. Team 11, also another very good drafter.
Uh-oh.
So might have to bump that up to 2.5, guys. We'll see.
I'm keeping it at 1.5. All right.
Listen, we need Joe Burrow to be there week 1, or else I might have some problems. I might have to drop that to 9.5.
I have to ask you, I know you're coming to Vegas. Are you staying for the Sunday games or are you flying back earlier?
So I have to take the red eye back Saturday night so I can be at the bar, for our opening week. And, I've been telling you for a while, Greg, the last couple of years that I'm going to make it out to Vegas, but because of bar life, I've had to stay back. And this year I'm sucking it up and I'm coming, and I'll be there for the Thursday nighter.
Good.
And all the drafts, and but I'm gonna head out of town and get back early Sunday morning, so I can be back.
When Chris says bar life, he means he's on the other side of the bar. He's not Norm sitting at his favorite chair.
Good point. Yeah,
he's on the other side serving them, and at a great place in New York. You know what? We're going to have a blast in Vegas. Can hardly wait to see you out there. I'll give you a big hug, buddy, and look forward to seeing you for sure. And
Absolutely, Greg. And Tom, I'll see you in a couple of weeks in New York City at my bar, Greenwich Street Tavern, where we host the pre-draft party on Thursday night with all the guys that come through for the drafts live in New York. They'll all be there the night before. So if you're going to be in New York for the drafts, come through on that Thursday night.
Yep, Derek and I will be there.
Yeah, Derek will close it down. I don't know if Tom can close down bars anymore, but Derek
I can't. I can't close down bars anymore.
Good. I'm glad of that. But Derek will, I'm sure. So, all right, we're at playnffc.com. This is the RotoWire Online Championship, $250,000 grand prize. The NFFC primetime starts August 19th. We haven't had any drafts yet. We wait until those last 3 weeks to get them all in then. So check it out at playnffc.com. Chris Vaccaro, you're one of the best, NFFC Hall of Famer. We'll see you in the draft, all right? And good night, everybody. All right, that's a wrap. Thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
Guys, appreciate it. It was a lot of fun, man. I hope it came off pretty well. I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
That was great.
Perfect. Thanks. Good luck in all your leagues, all right?
Thank you.